Hi, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you could join us for our 40th anniversary gala. While we'd hoped for a live event, we're hoping that you can make the most out of the best thing of Zooming, right? Which is that you're in your shorts and flip-flops, like I am. See, you can't see that I have shorts and flip-flops on. My name is Karen Jacobson. I'm the current Executive Director of the Randolph County Housing Authority. And with me here live is Lisa Harris, our Board Chair and Senior Vice President at Citizens National Bank, and our staff members, Mindy Brochart, Jay Judy, Lisa Schaefer, Jennifer Griggs, and Heather Kittle. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies tonight. A few words about the Zoom platform for our gala. I want to point out for those that are not on Zoom meetings every day that there are a couple ways to interact during these kinds of meetings, even while you're muted. You can use the chat box to comment or ask a question to the whole group or privately, and the reaction function to clap or give a thumbs up. And this can be found at the bottom of your screen. In fact, let's test that out and let's see who's here. So if you are or have been an RCHA staff member, find the clap button and clap. Awesome. Please clap if you have been a commissioner serving on the board or are serving now. All right. Please give a thumbs up if you're a local partner of RCHA's. And how about a thumbs up from our state and federal government stakeholders? Awesome. And would our regional and national nonprofit partners give us a thumbs up? All right. Now everyone else clap or give a thumbs up if we didn't call on you. That's great. Okay, our meeting is being facilitated remotely by Heather Croson, our gala guru. Our chat function is being moderated by Jennifer Griggs, and our Facebook Live event is being moderated by Heather Kittle. There will be time after the keynote speech for some communication among all of us, so please prepare to join that conversation. Finally, a word about our goodie boxes, which I believe most of you, if not all of you, have received. Many thanks to the same Heather Croson, but also to Lisa Schaefer and her staff, and that includes her husband, Ben, for putting the boxes together and delivering them. We hope you enjoy them, along with your beverage of choice. In addition to the eatables, you'll find an ornament, an impact report, in which we've tried to capture some of the key work that's been done in the period 1979 to 2019. So please enjoy eating and reading, watching and participating over the next hour. And I will say the boxes, the report, and the video you'll see have all been generously supported by our sponsors. Our first event, if you will, at our event will be a video that we're excited about, made by our friends at LMC and Associates. While the impact report provides you with a lot of details of our work, I am going to just do a brief historic introduction to kind of frame the video.
To Zoom, enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
So in the 80s, our organization was started in 1979. In the 80s, we did a lot of home repair for older homeowners in Elkins. We also got our first Section 8 rental assistant vouchers. And toward the end of that decade, really started a home ownership program for low-income first-time homebuyers. In the 90s, the Housing Authority expanded that homeownership program under Josie's watch and helped over 100 low-income renters become homeowners. Also in the 90s, RCHA started a youth build program and 2 nonprofits. The Homeownership Center, which has helped 225 residents become new homeowners in just the last 5 years, and Woodlands Development Group, which just this year will complete 21 new or beautifully renovated housing units in Billington and Elkins. In the 2000s, RCHA started building and renovating rental housing. It started a wellness collaborative with Davis Health System, Cortland Acres, and Valley Healthcare. And it launched a rapid rehousing program to serve the homeless. Also in 2000, we started our third and final nonprofit, Highland Community Builders, which supports RCHA's mission and has since 2006 developed the Highland Meadows subdivision, is a partner in the First Ward School Apartments, and runs a property management company. So that gives you a little of that frame. And I just want to say and I think about all of this work is touching about 2,000 people a year with a housing solution or a training opportunity. None of this has been work that's been done in a vacuum or a silo. And in this video and in the impact report and in the photo montage, you'll see work that's funded by our federal and state partners, as well as our nonprofit and foundation supporters. So home dollars that built houses came from the West Virginia Housing Development Fund, Hi Nate. Renovation of houses and rental units were done with USDA funds. Hello to Chris Warner in Nashua. Financing of projects, a lot of financing of projects by our local banks and by FAHI, Hi to Jim, by USDA and the West Virginia Housing Development Fund, and by Rural LISC. Hi, Julia. And of course, the significant support of HUD through its Section 8 program made many things possible. Hi, Emma. So while the mission of the Housing Authority is to build strong communities and a healthy quality of life, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the central focus of our work, which is housing. Housing is a community asset that's often overlooked. Yet we know that if a school-aged child misses several weeks of school, moving multiple times during a year because their parents working 2 full-time minimum wage jobs can't pay the rent, that young person falls behind and is at risk of dropping out. We know that rent burdens for seniors on fixed incomes can lead to missed medications and poor diet and ultimately poor health and shorter life. We know that when low-income families can buy a home, they have the opportunity to leave poverty behind, to invest in an asset that can be used to fund a college education or retirement or be passed on to their children. Housing is also a huge economic driver, not only in property taxes collected from new homeowners or renovated housing stock, but in new development. Woodlands alone brings millions of dollars annually to suppliers and subcontractors in this community as they buy supplies and materials for their projects. And RCHA makes over $2 million in payments to more than 250 landlords in the region each year. So, okay, I'll step off my soapbox. Enough of an introduction. We see this video as a tribute to the values that drive our mission, and we hope you feel the same, and we hope you enjoy it.
The Housing Authority was formed in 1979, and it was a pretty untraditional formation of a housing authority because we started when a group of local residents who'd been doing home repair for some lower income seniors here in Elkins decided that they needed to form an entity in order to continue doing the work and using this particular source of funding. So instead of starting a nonprofit, which is what you'd think they would do, they started a housing authority, which is kind of a pretty different animal. So the thing you'll notice about the starting of our housing authority is that we had no HUD programs when we started. And it was a good 6 years until the Housing Fund for the state asked us to take over the Housing Choice Voucher Program, also known as Section 8. And that really launched the most traditional thing we do as a housing authority, which is rental assistance.
Okay, my name is Josie Kuda, and I was executive director of the Randolph County Housing Authority. I started in 1991, and I worked here for a little over 15 years. Yeah, it's a tremendous growth. We had, even in the first program that they had with Section 8 program, I think we started out with like 200 families that we could help. And by the end of those 15 years, there were over 600 families that we were helping. We kept on approaching the Housing and Urban Development to give us more funding, and we were able to reach out to 6 different counties from here.
So I think that's part of the beauty of the Randolph County Housing Authority. What they've been able to do is they've been extremely innovative. taking new alternative approaches, taking advantage of every resource that's out there to help meet community needs. I think of them as a very non-traditional housing authority. I mean, I've got to work all over the state now and seen some of the other organizations. I don't think there's any housing authority that's anything close to what the Randolph County Housing Authority is. Every couple of months, there seems like there's a new opportunity or a new funder that's we're getting their attention for some reason or another. And it's great to be able to engage with Karen and the staff to really think through how can this benefit our community.
Youth Build has become such a heart of the organization of what we do. We're working with Youth Build with young people who are choosing to stay in our communities and really look at what their future is here and really kind of make it happen. And that's different than, you know, young people who get an opportunity maybe to go to college in another state, and then they may not come back to Elkins until they retire. So we really want to work with and keep developing our young people.
The impact of our program on young people is connection, because they come in disconnected from education. They're disconnected from workforce. They're kind of disconnected with a really good feeling of their community. And so through education, job training, and a lot of community service, they get a really good feel of who they are and how they fit.
The biggest impact that Youth Build has had on me is just kind of like showing me my worth and kind of challenging me to go above and beyond. Like what I wanted was just like a lot of money and to live this comfortable life with this great salary. It taught me to actually give back, like to focus on your home, your community, giving back, because even if you make this great salary, you have to do something great with the money. You know, you have to do something great with your time. And Youth Build's about community, about serving, giving back to the community. And so major take back was community, service, volunteer, but leadership too. Mostly leadership and taking accountability of your own life, not blaming anybody else for, you know, what happened, and just picking up the pieces and moving forward.
Well, you know, the impact that we've had over the years, some of the communities that we went into and some of the older homes that we bought, have purchased and remodeled, have taken, and actually the neighbors in the community come and let us know that it has raised their property values, which is something that's really nice to go into one of these small neighborhoods and purchase the property, remodel some of these homes, plus the extra lots that we pick up of designing houses that fit into that community. And you couldn't tell that they hadn't been there for 40 years, except for these are new.
We are really good at treating our families well. You know, all of our staff are so devoted and loyal to the program and to the employer that they also realize that at one point, you know, that could be them sitting across the desk from them. So they treat them with utmost respect and dignity, and just want them to feel good about being here to get the assistance. We don't ever want them to feel badly about themselves or anything like that. So my staff are real cheerleaders and really try to build up our tenants as best they can.
When I was in a hopeless situation, like they just helped me get to where I need to be, man, and unbelievably so, and made sure my needs and all were met and everything I needed on a daily, checking on me. So that program was really helpful, and the people and the staff, like I couldn't ask for much better support.
It's really great. I mean, it's not just a job, it's a family. We truly are a family. And, you know, when we go out to Walmart or Kroger and you see people that say, hey, you're the HUD lady, or hey, you're the lady that helped me get my home, that makes you feel really good.
Things that I sort of dreamt would happen, I think are really happening. There's really an ongoing spirit among the organizations to continue the mission of building wealth in families, to making families really structurally sound. I have great hope for the future because, I see all the different things that are currently happening, with the value added work that's being done with the rental program. You know, houses continue to be built, homeowners continue to be prepared to take on that responsibility of being homeowners when families can have a safe place to live. Their kids do better in school, the people get involved with Little League, there's lots of things that can happen that will really, have an effect on the whole community. And, all the programs working together just make me feel that, there's really substantial change happening. And I don't see why they wouldn't continue.
There's that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that's sort of a good slogan for our 40th anniversary, because we've done all this work really in partnership of one sort or another, whether it was with a homeowner, the federal government, or our local nonprofits and municipalities. So it's a milestone, 40 years. I feel like we've become an institution, that we're kind of a mature agency now that that people in the community can rely on, and that will be here for a long time.
Well, thanks again to our sponsors for helping us make that video, and to LMC Associates and everyone who had a hand in it. Next, I have the great pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. I think probably everyone on this call and in this meeting knows her, so that should make this really easy. Jennifer Giovanetti is the president of the Claude Worthington Benedum Foundation, a position that she's held since October of 2018, but we all know her from her great work here in Elkins. In fact, Jen and I go back to her first gig here. I was working for Mountain Partners in Community Development when we wrote a grant to Benedum to enable the hiring of a project manager for the Elkins Depot restoration, for which the RCHA had raised funds but needed a little extra to have the project carried forward. It was another great collaboration, and it brought us Jen. So that was back in 1999. She spent a couple years managing that restoration and then moved into the executive director position for the Development Authority, where she continued the redevelopment of the rail yard, which was a model at the time for brownfield redevelopment and has become such an economic engine in our community here, and a community gathering spot as well. Jennifer left Elkins for the Richmond Federal Reserve about 10 years ago, but she stayed in close touch, starting in 2012 and leading the West Virginia Loan Fund Collaborative. Now, this is work that is close to Jen's heart. She was helping the Fed as a policy influencer and research engine better understand the impact of small business lending in underserved communities. It definitely put Elkins on the map, as we saw last week when the chairman of the Richmond Fed came to Elkins on a listening tour. I have to just mention two other more recent connections that Jen has to Elkins. One is that she is now serving on the Board of Trustees of Davis and Elkins College, so shout out to Chris Wood, good job. And the other one is just a funny coincidence. Our Jennifer Griggs, Jennifer G, purchased Jennifer Giovanetti's house when she moved here to take a job with the Housing Authority from California last year. Jennifer G, everything comes full circle. So I would be remiss if I didn't take a little side trip over to talk a little bit about the Benedum Foundation, because they have played such an outsized role, of course, in our state, in our community, and with the Housing Authority, always backing innovation, new solutions, and anything that really builds community capacity. According to Brooke Rogers, who preceded Josie, ran RCHA from 1986 to 1989, Benedum's first grant to the Housing Authority was to fund a year-long training for her, which resulted in the launching of the homeownership program. So isn't that fitting? Benham has always been there to support our innovations and new programs, from introducing entrepreneurship training to our youth build program, to helping us expand the Wellness Collaborative's Healthy Home program, to our most current work, supporting our partners, Catholic Charities and Youth Health Service, and helping people that are being hurt by the pandemic. So it's great and fitting that Jen can be with us today as the head of the Benham Foundation. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome one of our own, the president of the Claude Worthington Benham Foundation, Jen Giovanetti. Hey, Jen.
Hey, thank you so much, Karen. I'm just so honored to be with everyone today, and I see so many faces on this Zoom that bring me so much joy in seeing so many friends and colleagues that I feel were important work. So it's great to see you all. I really, though, want to start off by just congratulating the staff, the board, and the community on 40 years of the Randolph County Housing Authority providing meaningful services to Randolph County and beyond. The role of housing, and as Karen mentioned in her remarks, plays such an incredible role in the lives of young families, seniors, people with disabilities, and first-time homeowners. And few organizations can do what you do. Housing is, in particular of many things in people's lives, housing is critical to stability and to wealth generation. But needs always have a way of growing. And it is to the credit of all of you here and those who have gone before you that the Randolph County Housing Authority has never rested on its laurels, but rather resolved to do more, providing homes, but also essential services, technical assistance, and financing to a whole host of people. You really have nurtured a culture that is entrepreneurial and willing to, what I would say is, nibble around the edges of your core work to do more year after year. The entrepreneurial spirit that I just highlighted would have pleased our founder, Michael Benedum. Our benefactor, Michael Benedum, was a Bridgeport native who actually lucked into a career in the oil and gas business after offering up his seat on a train to John Worthington. Unbeknownst to him, John was an executive with Standard Oil Company. And John Worthington immediately offered Michael Benedum a job on the spot based on that gentlemanly character move. This, of course, changed his life. And over time, Michael Benedum became a successful businessman and one of the 100 wealthiest men of his time. But Michael is best remembered for his courage to explore and take risks and his caring nature, as was exhibited that day on the train. And I share this story with you to illustrate how important the character of West Virginians is, and to share that the Benedum Foundation today still prioritizes character and relationships. We look for organizations that are doing good and embody that little bit extra. In the case of the Randolph County Housing Authority, with its strong mission and proven reliability, the extra has been your ability to see new opportunities to keep helping people in new ways. And we love this because Michael Benedum is famous in his last will for writing the words, "We know not where a seed may sprout." And the Randolph County Housing Authority has turned out to be a very beautiful seed in our portfolio too. At the Benedum Foundation, we look to grantees to get their perspective on what might work to solve problems. We really aim to quietly support local ideas, local initiative, because we trust you and really we need your input on how to solve problems. I started thinking more about our grantees and their unique roles. And I can talk about this in 3 classifications. Some of our grantees are core organizations providing necessary services that few or no other organizations really provide. Some of our grantees are leading programs that we have what we call, they have like a nascent quality to them, meaning they are likely to grow, they will expand, they will develop ways yet to be seen. And finally, some of our grantees are what we see as catalytic. They start programs that are new, sometimes risky, and often they're envisioned to create something that does not or has not existed before. I value the core, the nascent, and the catalytic grantees equally. They all have a unique value to us. But once in a while, we have a grantee that is all of the above. They serve a core function, they begin nascent work by growing programs to add to their core functions, and sometimes they even add to their model. They add a catalytic idea, something that is not without risk, but could change how they approach their work and how they serve their community. The Randolph County Housing Authority is one of those rare grantees that has achieved all three classifications over the years. Your core work in housing preservation, housing development, construction, home ownership and rental assistance, and even the rapid rehousing and point-in-time counts of vulnerable homeless populations is core, fundamental, necessary work that someone has to do. But you've also launched into this nascent category, programs like Youth Build that have helped dozens of kids gain skills while growing the model to keep adding more. Or, for example, the nascent work of taking on downtown redevelopment. It takes brave, patient people to own the Del Monte, take on the First Ward School, investments you've made in Tucker County and beyond. This is the nascent work that you know and we know could take a decade, and you just patiently motor on. And lastly, the catalytic part. You have brought to the community and to the state catalytic thinking, like standing up a CDFI via Woodlands Community Lenders. This is opening up capital for small businesses that cannot get 100% of their loans from traditional lenders. And those small businesses won't get the same technical support usually. But for Woodlands, would new capital flow and new partnerships emerge with local banks. Another example of catalytic work to me is how you've been thinking holistically about seniors and wellness through both housing and the Healthy Home program. Your core work is hard work. Your nascent work has been patient work, and your catalytic work has been bold work. I hope this overview puts into perspective the important ways your work is appreciated by a foundation like ours. Now I want to just shift and pull back a little bit and talk more broadly for a moment. I think a lot about rural communities. Working in rural, I would submit, is just much more difficult than in most urban and suburban centers, but it is infinitely more rewarding. Rural strategies, rural economics, rural data, and rural policies are near and dear to me. Many of you know, as Karen mentioned, I lived in Randolph County for 12 years. In fact, my husband proposed to me on a mountaintop in Randolph County. We had all three of our kids here. And as I often tell, we got the best dog we ever owned in West Virginia. So while special to me personally, I won't deny that rural communities struggle with so many things. Rural communities can be more challenging for our youth. It can be harder on our seniors. Job opportunities are more anemic in rural states. They often pay less. Healthcare can be more difficult to access, especially as it relates to addiction and mental health. Even raising capital is harder in rural places because our small community projects are sometimes too small, and they're viewed by outsiders as higher risk, more difficult to finance, should come at a discount. But what we have going for us that can't be underestimated is the enduring spirit and better understanding of community. We know the effort it takes. We know the deep collaborations that are required, the diverse relationships, and the creative thinking that is needed to address local problems with local solutions. Rural institutions really set the tone and direction for much of this spirit of collaboration and innovation, rural institutions like the Randolph County Housing Authority, the Tucker County Foundation, Davis and Elkins College, Woodlands, legions of nonprofits. Just to name a few, like these all are anchors in the community and very important players. They bring leadership that is local and dedicated to local. They fight to bring resources to undersourced communities. And this is in a competitive world where they're up against much larger organizations. They also bring new ideas because they care about helping others and they have hope for an always brighter future. It's a future that they are part of in these communities. Institutions like the Randolph County Housing Authority leverage more than money. They leverage people to serve, people to lead, people to volunteer. And this is really essential because you can't get much done at all by yourself in a rural area. It does take working together. And that is the work that has been described in the video, the work that builds character in a virtuous cycle. So in closing, I would just like to tie all of this back to what we are living through right now. As we live through the COVID-19 pandemic, we are getting a glimpse into what people want to flee to when they are seeking a safer and higher quality of life. It is, in many ways, what we already have in rural West Virginia. It's green space, it's friendly neighbors, it's sense of place, and it's the ability to work from home and then be able to be outside in a quality way. I will end by saying I am as optimistic as ever that the next decade will present its share of challenges, but that the people and beauty of places like West Virginia will attract a new set of residents and businesses, people who value the environment, family, community, and helping one's fellow man. COVID-19 has certainly elevated some of the most basic inequities facing America. Education disparities, health access disparities, broadband disparities, much as we already knew in West Virginia, which is why I think this moment in time will create a new paradigm of attention and resources that will be paid to things like broadband access for all. So I'm looking forward to the next hour to celebrate the work and history of the Randolph County Housing Authority. I applaud you for your work, and I applaud you for your spirit, and I applaud you for all of the partnerships that you have nurtured to do the important work you're doing. The Housing Authority really has accomplished so much in its first 40 years, and as the world changes, I have every confidence that the Randolph County Housing Authority will continue to serve the region in core, nascent, and catalytic ways. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. That was awesome. Thanks for the kind words. And it means a lot that you and your staff have faith in us and what we're doing here together with our partners. At this point, I'd like to ask you to open that really big package that came to your house. I believe you said you hadn't seen a package like that since you were 6 years old. And
true, it's on the floor behind me. Yes.
And let's just see what's in there. It's a small token of our appreciation for joining us today. And I think many people on...
I'm going to put this on the chair.
Many people on the in this meeting will recognize this beautiful thing. And some of you at this meeting may have these in your own homes. Yeah. So it's a youth-built drum, and
wow.
It's a tradition. Youthfield makes some of these very special drums every year or so, and I know you and your family are really musical, and so that this drum would find a good home with you and Jeremy and the kids. So thanks again.
Thank you. This will be much loved by my family, and it will torment the dog beautifully. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Okay, so we're moving on to the part of our agenda that is called Reflections from our guests. And this is an opportunity for us to anyone who'd like to share a minute or so of a story or a comment. You've seen our brief tribute. You've heard Jennifer's interesting and really hopeful remarks. What did either of those do for you? Each of you in some way or another has contributed to RCHA's story as a partner, as a staff, as maybe a customer or a client or a youth builder. So if you've got a story or reflection, please put your name in the chat box on Zoom, and we'll give you the floor. So just type out your name in the way that it's spelled on Zoom in case you're under an alias, and we'll call on you in order. Jennifer Griggs. Tracy Coleman.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Jen. As a new person coming into the staff, the videos and Jen's speech was heart touching. I think that I'm part of that seed. Our program is part of that seed with the work grant training program. I've seen already successes, even though it was short going in the beginning. I think we're coming over a lot of hurdles, learning a lot of things. The Housing Authority is adding a lot to make it better, and I appreciate being a part of that. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Mark McMillian. Mark McMillian, can you unmute yourself? Let's go to Madeline Humphrey.
Hi, I'm Madeline Humphrey, and I serve as an AmeriCorps Vista with the Randolph County Housing Authority under the Healthy Home Program. An opportunity was brought to me when I was leaving Davis Jones College, graduating, and it led me to the position I'm in now as the director of Elkins Main Street, and I'm very grateful for the professional development that happened during that time, and that I made, and learning from such a wonderful organization. I think my Wi-Fi connection is a little rough, so I do apologize for that. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Madeline. We have Penny Heflin. Can you unmute yourself?
We're trying to work out some technical difficulty here, but it's not very good. So we've got it set. But I am Penny Heflin, and I work with Elkins Builders Supply. And we were looking for workers or employees a while back and had got a referral from Youth Build, which was Eric Trickett that graduated from there. First, he started working with us, I guess, through hours that he needed to work, and did a very good job. So when he graduated from Youth Build, we offered him a full-time position. And he was a very good young man. He was polite, he learned quick. He was, when he was done with his task, looking for something else to do, and that's very rare. And we work hand in hand with Woodlands on many of the different projects that they're working on. Everybody that comes in is sort of our builders family. So we appreciate them, and we'll help them do whatever needs to be done. And it's been a good working relationship. You guys got anything?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Penny, Thank you. That's Penny Heflin from Elkins Builder Supply, a really strong partner of ours, telling the story of hiring one of our youth build grads. Joanna DiStefano, can you unmute?
Sure thing. So, hello, Joanna DiStefano. I, much like Madeline, I came to the Housing Authority as a VISTA volunteer though that was nearly 20 years ago, I'm afraid to admit. However, that was a wonderful way to start a career, and among many special people and wonderful staff, got to meet a lot of really wonderful community members and do what I felt was very important work. So I feel very fortunate for the opportunity, and very happy to see everyone and that all the good work continues.
Thank you, Joanna. Wow, it's great to see you. You have to come by and visit sometime. Let's go back to Mark McMillian. Was in the queue.
I am. I did. Thank you. I've been most directly involved with Youth Build, which is just a phenomenal program to let those kids have that second chance to get back on the right path. But I am just amazed at what all the great works that you've done as an authority, and the way you reach out and touch people's lives are just amazing, and a real credit to the character of Elkins and Randolph County. So bravo, Zulu.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Really appreciate it. Mark does leadership development with our Youth Build program. Rhett Dusenberry, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am. I sure can, Karen. Thank you for allowing me to speak real quick. I'm Rhett Dusenberry, and I represent Congressman Alex Mooney. But before I started working for Congressman Mooney 3 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be on the Elkins City Council. And it seemed like every time I turned around, we were speaking with Karen Jacobson or Woodlands, or watching Youth Build in Main Street make tremendous gains in our community. And I just want to say personally that, you know, I've always been very impressed of y'all's sense of community, and I'm also speaking for the congressman as well as the individual empowerment issues, the family stability, and y'all just do a great job. And all I can say is many, many more years of success and growing the Elkins Randolph area and West Virginia's community. And if we can be of assistance in any way in the congressman's office, I'm sure he's extending that hand to you, and look forward to seeing y'all at the next board meeting. So thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Rhett, and it's great to have the support of the congressman. Really appreciate it. I think, do we have anyone else? I see Jennifer writing. Let's see. We have a comment from Nikki. Can Nikki unmute? Nikki Hinkle, one of our home buyers out at Highland Meadows.
I'm having some trouble with the audio. I can hear you guys sometimes and sometimes I can't. So I'll try to turn my video on, but all right. Well, I'm Nikki, and I built a house in Highland Meadows with the help of the Housing Authority. So these are my peeps. I'm very happy to support them tonight.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. It's great to see you. We have Robbie Morris from the Executive Director of the Development Authority, and then we'll have Nate Tessman from the West Virginia Housing Development Fund. Robbie, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am. Karen, thank you very much. Congratulations to the Housing Authority on 40 great years. The Housing Authority and all of the entities involved that have been created out of the Housing Authority are great economic development partners with us. All of my predecessors, including Jen, have set up great partnerships with the Housing Authority and Woodlands and everyone else. And it's fantastic to have so many organizations involved in economic development and community development from the West Virginia Wood Technology Center side, involved with Youth Build and providing safety training, and now getting ready to start with the Get Ready program. We just really appreciate the partnership and the dedication of everyone in your staff, and I know everyone here appreciates what you do. So congratulations, and look forward to many more years working with you.
Thanks, Robbie. Thanks on behalf of all our staff. We always, we treasure our partnership with the Development Authority and with the Wood Tech Center. And Nate Testman from the West Virginia Housing Development Fund. Can you unmute yourself? This is fun.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for having me, and congratulations on 40 years. We have a lot of great partners at the West Virginia Housing Development Fund, but I'd put Randolph County Housing Authority and Woodlands right at the top of our list. You guys have certainly had a substantial impact on the housing community in Randolph County, but really around the state through your involvement in several organizations. You guys are very active, not only in your service area, but very helpful to other organizations throughout the state. So we are very proud to be a partner in what you do. We can't wait to be a partner for what you do in the next 40 years. So again, congratulations, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. I think we'll move on. Nope, Jennifer is, thanks very much, Nate. And much of our work wouldn't be possible without the Housing Fund. So appreciate you being here. Hey, Melissa Kaufman, and Melissa will be our last comment from our group. Hey, Melissa.
Hi. I just wanted to say that it's always been a pleasure to I think my daughter might have muted my microphone again, but I was just saying it's always been a pleasure to work with you all, and the dedication that you have for your clients in the community is just, it's outstanding. And working with you through the Homeless Coalition has, although I'm not able to anymore, but it was always, it was wonderful to be a part of that with you all. And so you're very much appreciated.
You were such a key member in getting that coalition together. Really appreciate you. It's lovely to see your daughter too.
Thank you.
And yeah, finally we have Chris and Lisa Wood. Chris Wood, president of Davis and Elkins College, and his wife Lisa, who runs our Elkins Randolph Chamber of Commerce. Can you unmute?
Karen, I simply want to provide congratulations on both mine and Lisa's behalf. Since our arrival in Elkins, we have been quite impressed by all of the wonderful community organizations that are here. Housing Authority right at the top of that list for us. Also want to say to Jen Giovannotti how proud we are to have her back working with us at Davis and Elkins College, and certainly very appreciative for all that she does. I also just want to say Karen and I have had some wonderful conversations recently, and the college is looking forward to a much stronger partnership with the Housing Authority as we move forward. Congratulations on 40 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, well, that was super, super fun. Thanks to everybody for stepping in and making it really as much like a cocktail party as we could possibly have. We're going to move to looking to the future, which is kind of two pieces. First, we look to the future, of course, by talking about Youth Build, because what is the future? Our young people. We've been operating a Youth Build program since we were one of the first planning grants awarded from HUD back in 1995. We figure we've graduated about 800 young people from the program at this point. And these are young people that sign up for education, job training, and leadership development. And over the course of 6 to 8 months, get ready to get a job, sign up for AmeriCorps or Vista, or go on to technical training or college. I love the name of the program Youth Build because I think it has these two meanings. You know, it's youth really building their lives the way they want to see them, but it's also youth building community. While they're with us, they contribute so many hours of service to our community efforts, whether it's building a ramp for a disabled resident, cleaning up after the flood in Harmon, or building a house for a low-income family. This would be a good place for audience participation. Clap your hands or thumbs up if you're aware of something that Youth Build Labor has contributed to the community. I think they give as much as they get, and they inspire me every day with their grit and their resilience and their energy. So we're going to share a few stories in a short video next from Youth Build alum to honor them and the many, many local partners that help make the program run. And here, a shout out to Judy Kramer, to Mark McMillian, and to all the other partners who really takes a village with the Youth Build program. Can we see the video?
In 2016, I graduated Youth Build. I was a premature drug addict. I was truant. I was on probation for truancy. I was in the process of dropping out, and I was in between jobs. Youth Build got me my counseling, got me on medicine. They helped me out with my GED, my task. They got me a job at the Davis Medical Center. I got my license. They also started me on some college courses through Garrett College for administrative medical assistant. So during Youth Build, I got off probation 4 months early, I want to say. I achieved a lot. I worked really hard. I got a lot of volunteer hours. I got like a certification for like 500 and some hours. I appreciate Youth Build, and it's an awesome program. And if you'd like to join it, I really recommend it. They'll help you get on your feet. They'll help you get certified. They'll help you get a job. And like I said, once a youth builder, always a youth builder.
Before Youth Build, I was lost. I had gotten in and out of a few jobs, but they didn't last very long. I needed skills necessary to get me into any sort of workplace, or even to get me where I am now. And that was all thanks to the caring, compassionate people who work at Youth Build. I don't think I could have ever hoped to achieve what I've achieved so far if it wasn't for them. And I have so much yet to go, and I now have the skills necessary because of them. So if it wasn't for Youth Build, I would probably be down a much different path than I am now, and I'm incredibly thankful. It was literally exactly what I needed and what most people in this community need, not only this community, but communities across America, especially right now. These are trying times, and they've done nothing but work with the people that have been affected by it.
Hi, my name's Lauren Scott. I went to Youth Build a couple of years ago whenever I was 17. At the time, I didn't really know what I was wanting to do with my life or where I wanted to go with it, but through their program, it really was a life changer for me. It's what started me on the path to the career that I'm in today. I'm an electrician, and at the time I worked as a construction trainee under Randy Cunningham, and he showed me a lot of things, and that's kind of what got me interested in it. I think that if it wasn't for Youth Build, then I would probably still be wondering what it was that I wanted to do. I would have never gotten the idea to want to go to school for that. Youth Build is just really a great program. I still reach out to them frequently. If I ever need help with anything, it's an amazing staff, and I hope for nothing but the best for them. And I encourage anyone to go and join that program because it's amazing.
All right, and honors to our youth, all of our Youth Build grads and alums. A few comments on our future, and we're coming around to closing. So as we all get ready to raise a glass, let me just share 3 things I'm excited about for the future of RCHA and those we serve. First, I'm happy to announce that RCHA's Board of Commissioners has launched the Lauren Fortney Youth Build Fund. Our goal for the coming year is to raise $100,000 on the path to raising $300,000 over the next 3 years. These funds will be used for scholarship funds so that nothing stands in the way of our Youth Build grad streams, and also for program sustainability. I'm grateful to the donors that have contributed during our first Turkey Trot fundraiser last year, and stay tuned, there's another one coming this fall, and also during our soft launch. I'm grateful to the Tucker Community Foundation, who will hold the funds for us, and to our Gala sponsors, whose contributions included a gift to this fund. Second, starting this month and for the next 2 years, we'll be providing training and education that any member of the public can access in 2 fields that account for most of the better paying jobs in our community: hardwood manufacturing and healthcare. Our partnerships with the West Virginia Wood Tech Center and Davis Health Systems have helped those craft programs that'll help people get a job, keep a job, and move up career ladders in these important fields and make the lives they want to have here in Randolph County. Finally, as part of the funding provided by Benedum and by Rural LISC, and in partnership with the Homeownership Center, I'm pleased to say we'll be offering a Financial Opportunity Center starting this month. This year of all years, it's important to provide coaching and education to households that may be under severe financial stress due to the economic effects of the pandemic. The FOC model is proven to help clients become sustainably employed, improve their credit scores, reduce their consumer debt, just become more financially stable. And in that way, it really builds on the historic work started by Brooke Rogers and continued by Josie to help our local families become successful and build assets. So you may notice the lack of housing news from the Housing Authority. We do have several projects on the drawing board, but as with all things this year, COVID has slowed their progress just a bit. So I promise we'll have good news in the weeks and months to come, and we'll share it with you. So thanks again so much for joining us. We want to recognize our sponsors who have funded both our Gala event tonight and these important first dollars into our Lauren Fortney Youth Build Fund. And they include the Elkins Fahy, the Mills Group, TerraFlora Landscaping, West Virginia Housing Development Fund, Davis Health System, Valley Supply, MyTech Computer Solutions, Randolph County Development Authority, Bates Carpet and Furniture Center, and Rich Mountain Trading and Pawn. These are the best partners you can have. They're all about doing the work right. They lean in and they help, they show up to help when you need them. And many of our local sponsors are also big supporters of Youth Build, offering job shadowing and first jobs to some of our grads. So thank you to our sponsors. So for our closing toast, a note before the toast, we will keep the Zoom link up and open for a while after. So if you missed the photo montage at the beginning, you can walk down memory lane. And, or if you want to visit with other attendees, please stay on. I think we may have hyped this. Oh, I have forgotten something so important. And yet we all have, this is great. We have champagne already. We want to play a special thank you to our sponsors, and that is going to be queued up right now. Heather? That was really fun. Again, we appreciate our sponsors. I think we may have hyped the toast in the invitation. I think the exact wording was, you don't want to miss the toast. But I'm here to say we may have oversold that. We don't have a brass band or another celebrity speaker. We just really wanted to say, please join us in these times more than ever. We need reasons to celebrate and reasons to be grateful for being where we are, doing the work we do, and doing it together. Let's raise our glasses to 40 years of good work and many more to come. Cheers. Cheers. Can we see our visitors again? Thank you all for coming. Again, if you want to stay on, please do. And otherwise, thanks again for coming, and we'll see you soon. Cheers. Cheers.